Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is May 26th. Tarik Skubal is amazing, and I've got my second power rankings for you guys. Let's do it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? We've got another episode here as we're getting closer and closer to the end of May. This is the last week of May. Happy Monday. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far, a fantastic week, and have enjoyed the baseball season. I've got a couple things in the docket for today's episode. Nothing crazy today, not really that many big news stories, but besides a couple small little things. So we'll get into all of that and more with our series recap. Leading us off, we've got the Oilers and the Red Sox. Their first game gets rained out, and it's supposed to be made up as a doubleheader on Friday, to which it's a close game between them before a Devers home run and then a 13-run eighth. The Red Sox blow it open. Ref Snyder home run, and Devers gets his second of the game, which is a grand slam. It's a 19-5 the final, but that other game on Friday was also then rained out and then moved to Saturday as a doubleheader. So let's do it right this time. Doubleheader on Saturday. Boston sends this one to the 10th inning. Jarren Duran, Wilyer Abreu, Abraham Toro, all homer, and then Devers wins it with a walk-off single. Boy, is Rafi hot. Red Sox win that one 6-5, but here comes Baltimore. A pitcher's duel would land Baltimore's way. Who would have thought? 2-1 the final there. And then on the final day, Dylan Carlson hits his first home run of the year. Ryan O'Hearn joins him in the home run hitting party. And then how about Marcelo Mayo getting his first MLB hit? More on that later. 5-1 Baltimore, though. They split the 4-game series 2 apiece between the Red Sox and the Orioles. Blue Jays and Rays, and it's all Tampa. Brandon Lau, Curtis Mead, they homer in Game 1. Junior Camareno, a 3-run home run in Game 2. And then if that wasn't enough, Brandon Lau and Curtis Mead homer again in Game 3. They scored 7 runs in the 5th in that one. It's a 3-1 final, a 3-1 final, and a 13-0 final. The Rays sweep the Blue Jays, and it's a big 3-game wins for Tampa. Royals and Twins, the battle for 3rd and 4th in the Central. Correa, a home run, and Ty France, a 2-run walk-off bomb, wins it for Minnesota. 3-1 the final there. In Game 2, it's Bader and Cody Clemens going deep for the Twins. This one is also a walk-off win. Brooks Lee, the walk-off single. Back-to-back walk-offs for the Twins. They win that one 5-4. And in the final game, this one ends up in the 10th inning. Miguel Garcia gets an RBI single to score a run in the 10th. The Royals hold the Twins from getting a 3rd straight walk-off win. 2-1 the final there. The Royals avoid the sweep. Minnesota taking 2 of 3 from them. Guardians and Tigers, the 1st and 2nd seeds in the AL Central. Guards 5 games back. They start this series on the right foot. 7-0 win in Game 1. Angel Martinez with the home run. Then a 3-1 win for the second game. In that third game, this one would go to the 10th inning. The Guardians scored 4 runs in the 10th to the Tigers 2. They win that one 7-5. They're looking for the 4-game sweep, but inserts Tarik Skubal. Holy, he puts on the best Maddox ever. A complete game shutout on less than 100 pitches. No walks. He was brilliant as the Tigers avoid the sweep 5-0, but still a good series for the Guardians, who take 3 of 4. Rangers and White Sox. The White Sox show up Texas, a 4-1 win, followed by a 10-5 win as Joshua Palacios and Mike Tauchman get the homers in that game. Tauchman's first of the year, but the Rangers would not get swept by the White Sox. They score 3 in the 9th to get a comeback win. Jake Berger homers in the game as well. 5-4 Texas. They avoid the sweep there. Mariners and Astros in a 4-game series. The 1st and 2nd seeds in the AL West. The Astros 3.5 back. They could take the lead with a sweep. And in the first game, it's George Kirby making his season debut and it did not go his way. Altuve gets 2 homers in the game on back-to-back innings. It's a 9-2 Astros win. In Game 2, the Mariners go deep. Leody Taveras, a home run. Miles Mastrobuoni gets his first home run of the year. And then, of course, big dumper Cal Raleigh goes deep as well. The Mariners take it 5-3 to even up this series. They go for the third game, where it's Houston who gets the little bit of an edge over the Mariners, a 2-1 victory there. And in the final game, tied up at 3, Christian Walker, the walk-off 2-run home run. The Astros take 3 of 4 against the Mariners, 5-3 Astros in that last game, and they bring the lead from 3.5 down to just 1.5 back of the Mariners. Phillies and A's, one team hot, one team not. What do you think happens? Trey Turner, he gets a home run in the opener. It was 4-0 Phillies. Nick Kurtz hit a 3-run home run in the 9th to make it a 1-run game, but they cannot finish the job. Phillies take a 4-3 victory. Then in the second game, it's Alec Bohm, it's Kyle Schwarber, it's Brent Rooker who go deep in this one. A's up 1 to the top of the 9th. Max Kepler, he hits a home run to tie the game up. We go to extras where the Phillies score 3 in the 11th to take the win. 9-6 Philly. Lone opportunity there from the A's as the win streaks and losing streaks continue. But on the final game of the series, it's Jacob Wilson that goes deep for the A's. Trey Turner hits another home run for the Phillies. The A's scored 2 in the 8th to come back and get the win. They end their 11-game losing streak and end the Phillies' 9-game winning streak as this one ends with a 5-4 A's win. Marlins and Angels. The Angels are hot and winning plenty of games, and that would continue in this series, at least for the first game, because Taylor Ward and Jorge Soler go deep for the Halos. 7-4 Angels win. In the second game, though, it's Connor Norby from the Marlins. A 3-run home run would help the Marlins to a 6-2 victory as the Angels' 8-game winning streak ends there and immediately start a losing streak because the Marlins come back on Sunday with a 3-0 victory as Miami takes 2 of 3 from the Halos, and that is how that series ends. Padres and Braves. He is so back. Ronald Acuna Jr. steps up to the plate, his first at-bat of the season, takes the first pitch he sees and sends it out of here. What a moment for him and for the Braves. Unfortunately, Gavin Sheets would tie the game later with a solo shot of his own, and then the top of the 9th, Manny Machado hits his solo shot. 3 solo shots in the game. Acuna, Sheets, Machado. Machado puts it over the edge. Padres take a 2-1 win in the opener. The Braves, though, come back in Game 2. Olsen goes deep. And how about Acuna again? 2 games, 2 home runs. Ronald Acuna Jr. is that good. 7-1 Braves final to even up the series. But in the final, the rematch in this series, Gavin Sheets homers again. Manny Machado homers again. Jake Cronenworth goes deep as we enter the Crone Zone. The Padres take a 5-3 win and take 2 of 3 from the Braves. But boy, was it good to see Acuna back and hitting some tanks. Giants and Nationals, first 2 games would be shutouts. Giants win it 4-0 shutout there, and then 3-0 the Nationals take Game 2. James Wood hits his 13th home run of the year. What a season he's having. The road match follows the Giants' way as Sam Huff goes deep for San Francisco, who take 2 of 3 from the Nationals. 3-2 the final in that last game. Dodgers and Mets now, a revenge series potentially from the NLCS. Little rematch here. The Dodgers would take the first game after going to the 13th inning. The Mets had to score 3 runs in the 9th just to get it to extras, and the Dodgers scored 2 in the 13th. They win it 7-5 in the opener. Mets come back, though, even up the series, a 5-2 win, and then in that final game, it's a leadoff Shohei bomb, followed up by a 2-run Pete Alonso homer in the first inning. So it was 2-1 Mets. They added an extra. 3-1 Mets. The final, they take 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. Cubs and Reds had plenty of runs in this series, specifically on the Cubs end, 13-6 in the opener. Pete Crow Armstrong having himself an incredible season. He gets a 2-homer game, one of which a grand slam. Seiya Suzuki and Dansby Swanson go deep as well. It's a 13-6 Cubs win. In Game 2, Justin Turner, the 40-year-old, he goes deep. Carson Kelly goes deep, but it's the Reds with the last lap. Ellie De La Cruz, he hits a home run. He had 4 RBIs in this game. The Reds take it 6-4 to even up the series. But then in the final game, Reese McGuire plays in his first game of the season for the Cubs, and he hits not 1 but 2 home runs. His first 2 home runs of the year is in his first game. And that second one tied the game up. The Cubs complete a comeback from down 5. Seiya Suzuki hits a go-ahead 3-run home run, 11-8. The Cubs, the final big win there as they take 2 of 3 from the Reds. Brewers and Pirates now. This is a 4-game series that sees Yelich get a 2-homer game in the first game here. Joey Ortiz goes deep. And how about Spencer Horwitz hitting his first home run of the year and this first as the Pirates. The Brewers, though, take an 8-5 victory. Pirates come back, though. O'Neal Cruz, a 2-homer game for him, his second of which tied it in the 9th. The Pirates win it on a walk-off wild pitch in the 10th inning, 6-5 the final there. They come back with a 2-1 win and are looking for taking 3 of 4 against the Brewers as O'Neal Cruz hits the hardest hit ball in the StatCast era for another home run, potentially ever, 122.9 miles per hour off the bat from Cruz, an absolute animal in the box. But the Brewers score 3 in the 9th to complete a comeback win over the Pirates, 6-5 the final there, as the Brewers and Pirates split the 4-game set. D-backs and Cardinals. We saw some close games in this series that kept falling the Cardinals' way. Marte Moreno hit homers in Game 1. Mason Wynn hit a homer in Game 3. But it ends with a 4-3 Cardinals win, a 6-5 Cardinals win, and a 4-3 Cardinals win. The Cardinals just getting clutch runs late in the game, 8th inning, 7th inning, being able to take the lead those innings and holding on to them as the Cardinals sweep the Diamondbacks. How about that? And lastly, your Yankees, your Rockies. Ryan McMahon hits a 2-run double to give the Rockies the lead after a Judge home run. They hold on for a 3-2 victory. Obviously, the Yankees don't take too kindly to losing to the Rockies. Aaron Judge hits another homer in Game 2, and then the Yankees scored 10 runs in the 5th inning. They scored 12 unanswered after that Judge solo shot. They win it 13-1, and they followed it up with a 5-4 victory because there's no way the Rockies' first series win comes against the Yankees. They take 2 of 3 from the Rockies, who lose another series, still looking for their first series win on the year. And that's your series recap. Moving on now into the game of the weekend. We're heading to Cincinnati for that 3rd and final game between the Cubs and the Reds. Boy, has it been good. And speaking of being good, Pete Crow Armstrong is having a sneaky, fantastic season for the Cubs. Part of the reason why they are sitting first place in that NL Central. He singles 2 runs in the top of the first to get the Cubs rolling here. But the Reds put up a wall in the bottom of the first. Austin Hayes, an RBI single. Jose Trevino, an RBI single. Will Benson, an RBI single. And then Wild Pitch scores 4 in total. The Reds take a 4-2 lead heading into the top of the second, where Reese McGuire, in his first at-bat of this season, of course, hits a home run, his first of the year. That put the Cubs within 1, 4-3. Bottom 5, Ellie De La Cruz with the RBI single puts the Reds up 2. And then Austin Hayes hits a 2-run triple. That puts the Reds up 4, and then Jose Trevino an RBI double as the Reds score 4 runs in the 5th after scoring 4 runs in the first. It's an 8-3 game. The Reds are up 5. Top of the 6th is the wild pitch that allows a run to score for the Cubs. As Horner comes in to score. It's 8-4 now. Top 7, Nico Horner gets a 2 RBI double to put it in a 2-run game. And then Michael Busch hits an RBI single. And all of a sudden, that 5-run lead, it's a 1-run lead as we head to the top of the 8th, where it's Reese McGuire once again hitting his second home run of the game, his second of the year. That ties the game up 8-8. The Cubs have come all the way back. Later in the inning, 2 more runs get on base, and then Seiya Suzuki hits a 3-run home run, his 14th of the year, turns the 8-8 tie into an 11-8 Cubs lead, and that is the final score of this one, as that would do it. 11-8 the final, Cubs over the Reds for your game of the weekend. Boy, was it a great game that was. And a great, just in general, I think the baseball this weekend was pretty good. There was nothing that was crazy, nothing that was exciting. But we'll get into the baseball news here. Now, first thing I want to talk about is the Tarik Skubal game yesterday, because he was phenomenal. I have not seen a pitcher like that and have a game like that in I don't know how long. I immediately pulled up the Baseball Savant today because I was just so curious. And obviously I saw some highlights, but I wasn't able to watch the game fully. But how does he do that? How does he do that? For those of you who don't know, Tarik Skubal, complete game shutout, 9 innings pitched. He had only 2 hits allowed, did not walk a batter, struck out 13 of them, and only threw 94 pitches. He is the modern day best pitcher right now. He is becoming the Clayton Kershaw for the kids growing up now. For me, when I was watching Clayton Kershaw growing up, he is this guy right now. He has been phenomenal. Everything the Tigers could have wanted for and more. You think back to the Tigers teams when they were really good, when they had Scherzer and Verlander and all these other guys in the Cy Youngs of Rick Porcello and Anibal Sanchez. They just had amazing pitchers and those were amazing teams. I honestly believe that when all things are said and done, Tarik Skubal will be the best Tigers pitcher in their history, if not one of their best. I mean, obviously you have some greats, back then. But I mean, Scherzer, obviously I will remember him more for his time with the Nationals. Verlander, despite being as dominant as he was, he won 2 Cy Youngs with the Astros. He is, for me, I think of him more as an Astro sometimes than a Tiger. And that's mostly recency bias. But when I think of best Tiger pitchers, Skubal is easily, hands down, one of the best in my mind. He threw 30 fastballs, 29 fastballs, 29 changeups, 9 sliders, 26 sinkers, and 1 knuckle curve. So he was mainly throwing fastball, sinker, and changeups. His fastballs were sitting around the 96, 99 miles an hour. He had one four-seam that ended the game at 103. He threw a sinker at one point for 101, I believe, 102. So he was able to get up there. And then his changeup was sitting, low 90s here. A couple were about 91, 92. Some floated in the 87, 86 range. And then that 1 knuckle curve, his slowest pitch, was about 84 miles an hour. But yeah, his fastball was sitting at a 98.1, the sinker a 97.9. That's a 0.3 difference in the average speed there. If you look at his pitch movements, all of them were pretty much the same thing, which is just incredible to be able to repeat that process over and over again. With the same kind of inches movement, and for his fastball, his knuckle curve, the slider, the changeup, the sinker, everything was just coming out of his hand, about 6 feet above his head. It was just perfect stuff there. His game was just absolutely brilliant. He was getting called strikes. He had 13 called strikes, 26 swinging strikes, 18 fouls only, 13 hits out, and then only the 2 base hits, 1 on a changeup and 1 on a sinker. And I mean, just absolutely dominant. They had 6 hard hit balls. Mostly were in the air or ground balls. But yeah, it's just an absolute brilliant game from Skubal. This is the kind of stuff that I'm really excited to keep seeing and to see how the Tigers are able to stay relevant. They're one of the best team in the AL. They're doing great stuff, and obviously that goes into their offense and their bullpen as well. But Skubal is definitely carrying this team at points, and he is definitely, in my mind, the face of the franchise. And games like this are reasons why. So Skubal, an absolute gem. Moving into power rankings. I did this once in April, about this time, I think maybe a week ago, so about 5 weeks ago then. So I wanted to bring it back. There was not too much to talk about, so I thought, let me just run into some power rankings here. So for me, right now, power rankings number 1, just going off of the back of the Skubal dominance, the Tigers, I think, are the best team in baseball right now. Obviously, record-wise, they aren't because of the Phillies, but they have been phenomenal. I think what they've been able to do off of the back of last year, we thought was it going to be a fluky end to the season and, a lucky win against the Astros? No. The Tigers are here. They're +7 from my previous power rankings. They are number 1. Which brings us to number 2, the Phillies. They're up 5 from my last rankings. I think the team's coming together really nicely. Harper's clicking. Turner's clicking. Wheeler's been as dominant as he's been for the Phillies the last couple of years. they're the best team in the NL right now, and that's why they're second behind the Tigers. The Dodgers I have at third right now. That's -1 from the previous rankings. Still a great team, still doing fantastic things, but I think right now the Phillies, the Tigers, they've just been the teams to beat, so the Dodgers move down a spot. Yankees are in fourth, and the Mets are in fifth. This is a swap from earlier in the season, my first rankings. I had the Mets in 4 and the Yankees 5. I think Judge has gone off and done Judge things. The fact that he's being able to lead in average and hits, like it's not just the home runs and the RBIs that he's usually led in. It's the stuff that Luis Arias leads in. Guys like the contact hitters are supposed to lead in. And Judge, as a power hitter, and obviously a great hitter, he's leading in those things right now too. So the fact that he's able to do all of that on top of everything, Max Fried has turned himself into the ace of that staff. When this is without Cole too, the Yankees are still leading the East by a huge amount at this point, and that's just to show you how the East has been in shambles in the AL side. The Mets, they've lost their top spot to the Phillies. They've been kind of slumping. It's a long season, but I think Soto, who's off to his worst start of his career in 50 games, he'll eventually pick it up. He'll eventually get going again. You have the star power. You have the pitching staff who, has been overperforming, and that's even with all the injuries they've had. Kodai Senga, when they get guys like Sean Manaea back, the Mets will still roll. They'll still be a good team, and they'll still be fighting for the NL East lead and definitely a wild card spot as well. In sixth place, I've got the Cubs. They're up 4 because of how good they've been. They're sitting pretty as the NL Central favorites right now. Pete Crow Armstrong, amazing. Seiya Suzuki, putting up some fantastic numbers. The pitching's been great. And how about Kyle Tucker? That was the key ad. He's still having a great season. All in all, the Cubs team rolling, doing great stuff. The Giants I have next up in 7th, down 4 from where they were. That's not to knock the Giants. They're still having a great season, but of course their hot flying start to April has definitely cooled off over time here, and for that they're going down. The Padres are down 7. They're in 8th right now. The Tigers were in 8th. They went to 1st. Padres were in 1st. They're now in 8th. So a quick swap there as well. The Padres, of course, a 6-game losing streak. It's a tough stretch here in the middle of May here. The Braves, obviously, they were able to take 2 of 3 against Atlanta this weekend, which, good stuff for the Padres. Acuna comes back. He hits 2 homers in his 2 first games. The Padres say, no, thank you. We have Gavin Sheets, who's been hitting home runs recently. He's been doing a great job to help the Padres in the lower parts of the lineup. It's more of the top parts that are the concerning stuff. Tatis needs to really figure it out. Machado had those home runs this weekend. That helped them out get those 2 wins. You would just want to see more of them, see more of the pitching succeed. Dylan Cease has kind of struggled recently, so the Padres definitely have some work to do. They've gone from 1st to 3rd in the NL West at points now, so some figuring things out there. And then for 9th and 10th, I've put the Guardians and the Cardinals. Cardinals in 10th. I mean, the Twins are interchangeable with the Cardinals. You could have put the Twins in 10th and the Cardinals 11th, vice versa, but of course, just the top 10 here. The Cardinals, they're in 2nd in the NL Central, and from where they were, which was last in the NL Central, the fact that they've had that huge winning streak, they've been able to roll here, and now they're staying at a consistent pace here. If the Cardinals can keep that up, they can easily fight for a wild card spot and maybe even the division lead if the Cubs can slow down a little bit. And then the Guardians in 9th. They had a huge weekend against the Tigers. They took 3 of 4 from the division lead. That brought it down a substantial bit. And there's still, of course, 100-plus games to go to. So the Guardians can easily still be fighting the Tigers for the division here. They have J-Ram. They have key pieces and some key pitchers as well that's helping Cleveland stay relevant. And then if you go back to my April power rankings, the Diamondbacks and the Rangers were both in the top 10. Both of them have fallen out, and that is the power rankings update here. The second one definitely should stick with this more and kind of keep them rolling, but we'll see when's the next one will come, the third power rankings. And the last bit of baseball news here from the week, the Red Sox had to call up the kid. Marcelo Mayer made his MLB debut this past weekend on the Saturday in Game 2 of that doubleheader. He was the number 2 prospect in the Red Sox organization and the 8th prospect overall in baseball. Of course, Boston kind of been floundering recently. They're sitting at 27 and 28. They were second in the AL East, and things aren't really going that well for them. They had to make the move of, okay, who's going to be first base? Devers is refusing to play still. He's still been the DH, and granted, it's not like Devers has been underperforming. He's had some of his best hitting streaks recently. He had the 2-homer game. He had the walk-off single this past weekend, so he's still playing great as the DH. But you have this hole at first base. They've been running Nick Sogard and Abraham Toro as this platoon, which doesn't really, it works for now, but it's not going to be like, this is the guy that's going to help us make the playoffs. No, you need a more substantial fit. I would see Boston look for a first baseman in the trade market if they can stay relevant. Of course, Alex Bregman, he went down with an injury, so you have a hole open up at third base. Do you stick with a Nick Sogard, Abraham Toro platoon for first and third, and do you put Devers back out there? There was just too many questions, and with all that position drama surrounding Devers, they found it in the best interest to bring up Mayer, and, he's sitting nicely. He played 3 games already. He had his first MLB hit, as well as a 2-hit game, actually. So he's, the more reps he'll get, he joins Christian Campbell in that infield there. So some rookies helping out the veterans that Boston has. I think the Red Sox can still be a good team. They have the leadership potential of Duran and Devers and the guys who have been here before, Trevor Story, if he can stay healthy. And now you bring in these kids, Christian Campbell, who's been here since the start of the season. You bring up Mayer now, Roman Anthony, their top prospect, not only in their organization, but also in MLB right now. He is the the best prospect in the big leagues. If he gets a call to help out in the outfield, when Bregman comes back, they've got plenty of potential guys. Tristan Casas, of course, out for the year. When does Masataka Yoshida come back? The pitching has been solid. Garrett Crochet, brilliant. Brian Bellows had some nice starts. Hunter Dobbins. Giolito had a great start this past weekend. So, the Red Sox still have the potential to go, but without Bregman, they bring up Mayer. We'll see how it helps Boston here, but they've got some rookie potential here, and still a great team, and it's still early enough in the season where they can make a move here and go for potential playoff and potential wildcard spots. So keep that in mind as Boston's season continues. And speaking of continuing, let's get through our hot and colds from the week here. Seiya Suzuki from the Cubs. He was hot. 11 for 21, 4 doubles, 3 home runs, had 10 RBIs, scored 9 runs, 3 walks, a 1.726 OPS. He was brilliant. Nick Kurtz, despite the A's 11-game losing streak, he was brilliant. 7 for 17, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, 5 runs, 5 walks, and a 1.640 OPS. It's just not a single man sport. It's a team game. And speaking of the teams, the Angels on that 8-game winning streak, they had Taylor Ward to thank for that. 10 for 23, 4 doubles, a triple, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, 8 runs, 2 walks, and a 1.401 OPS. And he was not alone, as Logan O'Hoppe was hot this week as well. 8 for 23. A double, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, 6 runs, a 1.288 OPS for him. And lastly, Ryan O'Hearn. Baltimore's going to need a lot more to help them. He was 12 for 23, though. 2 doubles, a home run, 4 RBIs, 3 runs, 3 walks, and a 1.332 OPS. Flipping it now to the cold side of the pillow here, Xander Bogaerts was 1 for 18 with 6 strikeouts. Cedane Rafaela, 1 for 18 with 4 strikeouts. Fernando Tatis Jr., 3 for 24 with 10 strikeouts. Ian Happ, 3 for 23 with 11 strikeouts. And lastly, Josh Smith from Texas. He was 2 for 20 with 6 Ks. So those guys definitely looking to rebound this week and figure things out. For our injury updates from the week here, we have a pretty substantial list, unfortunately. Jimmy Garcia from the Blue Jays, he lands on the 15-day IL with a shoulder impingement. Gio Urshela from the A's, 10-day IL with a strained hamstring. Jason Hayward, 10-day IL, a strained oblique for him. As previously mentioned, Alex Bregman, that's a big blow for the Red Sox. 10-day IL for him with a strained quad. We saw him come out of the game. Jock Peterson, 10-day IL, a fractured right hand, so he'll definitely be missing at least a month, most likely. likely. Miguel Amaya, he lands on the 10-day IL with a strained oblique. That's why McGuire got called up and had that 2-homer game for a game of the week. And then lastly, Michael King on the 15-day IL with right shoulder inflammation. His start was scratched when he apparently woke up. Slept on the wrong side of the bed, slept on his shoulder weird, and he wasn't able to throw. Turns out it's more than that, potentially. At least it's lacking injury. So he lands on the 15-day IL, and hopefully after that, 2 weeks, he'll be able to get off and get back for the Padres, because they will definitely need him at his best to keep going and to get hot again. Outstanding performances from the weekend here. Tanner Bybee was brilliant in one of the games against the Tigers. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 8 Ks. Chris Sale, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, a walk, and 6 Ks. Zach Wheeler, 6 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 8 Ks. Jacob Lopez, know the name right now, A's pitcher, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 8 Ks, and that was against the Phillies. How about that? Jake Irvin's been brilliant, 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 7 Ks. Max Fried, the Cy Young potential candidate that the Yankees needed, 7 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 7 Ks. Trevor Rogers for Baltimore made his 2025 debut back from the IL, and it was a good one. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 5 Ks. Lucas Giolito throws a gem, 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. Ryan Pepio against the Blue Jays, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 5 Ks. Edward Cabrera with a nice start, 5 2/3, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts against the Angels that were hot. Chris Bubich is continuing to be an amazing pitcher for the Royals. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and 9 Ks. He went up against Bailey Ober, who was also brilliant, 6 2/3, with 7 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 3 Ks. Robbie Ray, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 7 Ks. And of course, the man of the hour, the man of the game, Tarik Skubal, the complete game shutout, 9 innings pitched, only 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 13 strikeouts on 94 pitches. Absolute brilliant stuff there from Skubal. And that would bring us to our standings check here. In the AL East, the Yankees are still atop at 32-20. They're 6 games up on the Rays, who are back to 500, 26-26. They're on a 5-game winning streak, coming fresh off the sweep of the Blue Jays, who are now in 4th place at 25-27. They had just gone over a game above 500 after their sweep on San Diego, but then got swept this weekend. Boston still in 3rd with 27-28, and Baltimore, well, they're just bad, 18-34, and need something to be happy about this season. The AL Central had a bit of a shakeup. The Tigers, 34-20. The Guardians, 29-23, are second. Then you have the Twins in 3rd. Royals in 4th. They're at 29-23 and 29-25. Some close stuff there. White Sox, 17-36 in last. The AL West, the only division where there's not a 30-win team yet. The Mariners are 29-23. They're a game and a half up on the Astros, who took 3 or 4 from Seattle. They're at 28-25. Texas lost 2 of 3 to the White Sox. They're at 26-28. The Angels, after their 8-game winning streak, find themselves just 2 games back of 500 now. They're at 25-27. And the A's, after their 11-game losing streak, find themselves at 23-31. I mean, at one point they were, 22-20, and it just snowballed pathetically for the A's there. The NL East, the Phillies are at 34-19, first in the East. The Mets, 2 games back of them at 32-21. Braves, 2 games under 500, still at 25-27. They're looking to get there and stay there, kind of the NL version of the Jays. Nationals, 24-29 in 4th, and the Marlins, 21-30 in 5th there. For the NL Central, the Cubs at 32-21 are 2 games up on the Cardinals, who sit at 30-23. The Reds are 26-28 and trying to get hot and stay hot. Brewers tied with them as well, 26-28, while the Pirates are 19-35. And then lastly, in the NL West, the Dodgers are still good, but they're still fighting these other teams, 32-21. You think they would have a 6-7 game lead by then. They do not. The Giants are at 31-22, just a game back. And the Padres, despite their 6-game losing streak just last week, they're at 29-22, just 2 games back of the Dodgers. So still anyone's race there. Diamondbacks, a 5-game losing streak has put them below 500. They're at 26-27. They need to get hot. They need to end that streak and get things going for them. And the Rockies still looking for their 10th win on the season. They're 9-44, pathetic 17% win rate, and things are just going away. Still looking for their first series win as well. When will the suffering end for Colorado is kind of the storyline here of the season, because it just continues to get ugly. This brings us now to our upcoming series for the week here. The Cardinals are in Baltimore taking on the Oilers. Twins at Rays, the Dodgers at the Guardians, Giants at Tigers, Reds at Royals, the Yankees in LA taking on the Angels, Blue Jays at Rangers, A's at Astros, Nationals at Mariners, White Sox at Mets, Braves at Phillies. That's a highlight one right there. That series to watch. Red Sox at Brewers, Rockies at Cubs, so easy wins for the Cubs. Pirates at D-backs, Marlins at Padres, and that is what is happening this week. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for our episode here today. I appreciate you guys for clicking on the video here, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. Thank you so much for coming into today's episode. We're almost through the month of May, nearly a third of the season done. Is your team a top team? Is your team a trash team? Well, there's still time to make that up unless you're Colorado. Thank you, everybody, so much, and I will see you on Friday.